Okay, everybody, we are almost finished. We are on the final peg of our platform. This has been a long video, so thanks for bearing with me as I kind of read through it all. It's both for my benefit and your benefit, and it's going to go on my channels, and you will see what it's all about. So hopefully this hasn't been too annoying and it is informative for you. So definitely check out the links below, read it for yourself, and definitely check out the other sources as well, like the CHP website and whatnot. Okay, arts and communications, code of ethics. In view of the awesome power of the media and entertainment industries to shape public sentiment and attitudes, we favor the adoption of national codes of ethics to restore objectivity to the whole system, right? In the past, censorship implied suppressing legitimate viewpoints or facts. In our own time, censorship is necessary to protect the weak and gullible from the avaricious. Therefore, a code of ethics on the mass media should be implied and dealt with, both printed and electronic. It's necessary to halt the debauchery of public morals, particularly those to the young. Okay, freedom of the press. Freedom of the press in terms of freedom to report honestly and fairly in all matters is essential to the operation of democracy by a free people. However, if that media and arts are unable to regulate themselves by a self-imposed code, those things which are calculated not to inform but to titillate or disinform, then censorship by the authority becomes essential. And I partially agree with that and partially not, because even though it sounds good that you want to keep people from disinformation, or in some ways we're saying no, you shouldn't have censorship, or if you don't self-censor with your own board, then the government will censor, which I'm not a big fan of this statement myself, because you want to know what, we can be big boys and girls and stuff. There's enough websites. If somebody wants to give out disinformation, there'll be other websites and other information and other sources to give out other information and contradictory information. So I'm not sure about that. Religious broadcasting. We believe that religious broadcasting by stations established for that purpose should be permitted and subject to an acceptable code of ethics incumbent upon the whole broadcasting industry. Yeah, that's probably fine. And being labeled religious broadcasting, maybe not. I'm not sure if I fully agree with the labeling of even religious broadcasting, but that's a possibility. Government support of the arts. The government support of the arts should continue. It must not be left aimless, a condition in which it is susceptible to misuse or abuse by antisocial or anti-religious, immoral, and unpatriotic ideologies and such. Instead, government funding should... hang on. Government funding should be targeted to works to ennoble the human spirit, educate, preserve, and transmit the values of our culture and the Christian principles upon which they are based, encourage the aspiration to be better humans and to glorify their Creator. So for the most part, not 100% removed. CHP saying don't 100% remove itself, but encourage things that encourage aspiration to be better humans, and good Christian principles, working hard, being better, education, learning, good things of character. CBC and Radio Canada. It is not the function of the state to own and maintain a public broadcaster. The state should leave broadcasting to the private businesses or the free market. The CBC and Radio Canada should be largely privatized, and the sale of all broadcasting originating facilities and as many transmitters as possible. The remainder to function solely to carry private broadcast signals. So minimize and sell the whole lot of CBC and get out of that business. Maybe back in the day it served its purpose when it was maybe one of only few radio stations, or maybe only radio station that could reach different communities or whatever back in the originating days of Canada. But in this day and age, of mass media. We have mass media and mass choices, and you have no reason. And the selling of this actually connects with one of our previous points that talk about the kind of crown corporations and things like that. That there may be a particular time and season and reason for government-owned facilities and resources, but as soon as possible, you should always try to sell those off and get those into the private sector. And CBC is one of them. Goodbye. No reason to have a government-run propaganda machine. In remote areas, in parts of Canada where it's insufficient population to support a second language service of the CBC, the facility would be operated as a trust by downsized CBC to carry programs originating on regionally pertinent private stations. Sunset laws would apply to all publicly funded broadcast activities to determine whether the need for the activity still exists. So it's not a complete shutdown, but it's a slow, properly maintained shutdown. The National Film Board should be reduced to an archival facility with limited budgets to purchase Canadian-made productions, which the documentation of Canada's culture, history, natural history, and educational standards. It should not be used to promote political ideologies. Film should be made available to educational institutes and airtime purchase on private and educational networks for public exposure.